There are some truths you must hear today, because what I'm about to share will shake your mind, touch your heart, and open your eyes in ways you never imagined. If you've ever wondered why a man who walked away, who chose someone else, still finds, and once someone experiences the vibration of your soul, it becomes a part of them in ways they may not even understand. When you give someone genuine love, kindness, and presence, you leave behind an imprint that cannot be replaced, no matter how hard they try to run or cover it with distractions. That energy becomes a memory within their spirit, a silent reminder of what it feels like to be truly seen and deeply connected. He might try to move on, he might tell himself he's happier with someone else, but at quiet moments, when the noise fades and he is left with his thoughts, he will feel the echo of your presence. It shows up unexpectedly, in the simplest things: a song on the radio, a phrase someone else says, a place that reminds him of you, or even the way another person smiles. All of it triggers that invisible imprint, that reminder of how unique and powerful your energy was in his life. This is why, no matter how far he goes, there will always be a pull that brings him back in thought, if not in action immediately, because energy does not lie. Temporary attraction might feel exciting at first, but it cannot compete with the vibration of authenticity. When someone has tasted the energy of someone who is aligned, compassionate, and real, they cannot unfeel it. It is like a signature left on their soul, and no other person can replicate it. The human heart craves energy that feels safe yet alive, strong yet gentle, rare yet real. That is what you gave him, often without even realizing its impact. And because it was not forced, because it was natural, it remains with him even when he tries to deny it. He might smile with someone else, he might pretend to move forward, but deep inside he carries the residue of your presence. That silent pull of your energy whispers to him in moments of stillness, reminding him that what he once had with you cannot be erased, no matter how far he runs or how many new hands he tries to hold. 2. How genuine love creates a pull stronger than temporary attraction. There is a clear difference between the rush of attraction and the depth of genuine love, and often it takes time and distance for someone to realize it. Attraction can be powerful, it excites, it sparkles, it feels intoxicating in the beginning. But attraction alone fades when tested by real life challenges and the passage of time. Genuine love, on the other hand, is not about the thrill of the moment. It is about the bond that goes beyond circumstances, the connection that cannot be shaken no matter how many storms come. This is the kind of love that does not just touch the heart but anchors the soul. When he walked away or found himself with someone else, perhaps he was chasing that thrill, that excitement that looked fresh and new, but soon he begins to see the difference. He notices that what looks shiny on the outside often lacks the depth he once experienced with you. Temporary attraction can only go so far. It pleases the eyes and maybe even the ego, but it cannot satisfy the soul. And that is when the pull of genuine love begins to whisper louder than the noise of fleeting passion. Genuine love creates a sense of safety, a place where someone feels both challenged to grow and completely accepted at the same time. It's the kind of bond where silence feels comfortable, where even the smallest moments carry weight, where being with that person feels like being home. When you offered him this, you gave him something irreplaceable, something that outlives any temporary excitement he thought he found elsewhere. Even if he tries to bury it, the comparison becomes unavoidable. He will notice that with you, love was not just about emotions, it was about connection, about being seen for who he truly is, about knowing that someone stood by him, not for what he could provide, but for who he was at his core. That type of bond cannot be forgotten, because it fulfills a need deeper than attraction ever could. So while temporary attraction might fade as quickly as it arrives, genuine love builds a foundation that lingers in his spirit. No matter where he goes, no matter who he is with, that invisible force of real love pulls at him, reminding him that the difference between being wanted and being truly loved is a gap too wide for him to ignore. 3. How your absence becomes louder than your presence ever did. When you were there, he may have taken your presence for granted. He may not have realized the depth of comfort, peace, and stability you brought into his life simply by being around. But absence has a way of amplifying what presence once quietly offered. It is only when someone steps away from the warmth that they begin to feel the cold. Only when the constant is gone that they begin to understand its true value. Your absence, rather than silencing your impact, makes it echo louder in his mind and heart. Everyday routines that once felt ordinary now highlight what is missing. The conversations that used to flow easily are suddenly replaced with silence, and he finds himself craving the ease that only existed with you. Even small habits like the way you encouraged him, the way you listened, or the way you laughed start to replay in his memory. And as much as he might try to move on, those small reminders grow louder with time, because absence magnifies what presence once softened. He may try to fill that empty space with someone else, with distractions, or with busyness, but nothing quite fits the way you did. That gap cannot be ignored, because what you brought into his life was not surface level. It was deeply rooted in authenticity and care. The truth is, people often do not realize the weight of someone's presence until it becomes a memory, and that memory keeps knocking louder every time they try to suppress it. Absence also has a way of stripping illusions. At first, he may have believed he could move on easily, that someone else could replace the connection he had with you. But as time passes, he learns that your presence wasn't just about being there physically, it was about the emotional and spiritual fulfillment you gave him. That kind of void cannot be ignored or forgotten, because it affects the way he feels about everything else in his life. Your absence, in many ways, becomes a mirror for him. It forces him to confront the reality that nothing he chases now carries the same depth, the same meaning, or the same comfort. And the louder that absence grows, the more it draws him back toward what he lost, reminding him of the irreplaceable value your presence once brought into his world. 4. How men realize the difference between attention and real connection. At first, attention can feel intoxicating. It can make someone feel desired, admired, even powerful. When he steps into something new, especially with someone who showers him with excitement and constant validation, it may seem as though he has found something better. But with time, attention begins to lose its shine because it is often shallow, built on surface-level admiration rather than the foundation of true understanding. What he eventually realizes is that there is a vast difference between being noticed and being known, between receiving attention and experiencing a real connection. With you, he had connection. You didn't just notice him, you understood him. You knew the stories behind his silence, the weight behind his words, the fears he didn't speak out loud. That level of connection goes beyond attention, because it requires presence, empathy, and an unspoken bond that can't be manufactured. When someone else gives him attention, it may flatter him, but it will never fill the deeper need to be truly seen for who he is. Over time, this truth becomes undeniable. Attention may stroke the ego, but connection feeds the soul, and the soul is always hungrier than the ego. He will start to feel that emptiness inside, a gnawing realization that while he might be surrounded by people who give him admiration, none of it carries the same weight as the connection he once had with you. That awareness grows stronger with every shallow interaction, every empty conversation, every moment he feels celebrated but not understood. It is in those quiet moments when the crowd is gone, when the attention fades, that he feels the void most deeply. Because real connection doesn't just disappear. It lives in the memory of how you made him feel, how he could be vulnerable with you without fear, how he could share both his flaws and dreams without judgment. That kind of authenticity cannot be replaced with surface-level praise. And so the difference becomes painfully clear. He will realize that attention, no matter how plentiful, will never equal the richness of true connection. It is that understanding that makes him look back, that makes him remember how rare what he had with you really was, and that makes him see that while attention may be easy to find, genuine connection is something most people spend a lifetime searching for. 5. How the bond of emotional depth always outlasts surface-level romance. Romance can be sweet, exciting, and full of passion in the beginning. It can sweep someone off their feet, make their heart race, and create the illusion that this is everything they've ever wanted. But surface-level romance often thrives only on attraction, charm, or the thrill of newness. And as beautiful as it may feel at first, it rarely lasts when real life begins to test it. Emotional depth, on the other hand, is the kind of bond that weathers storms, survives changes, and continues to grow stronger with time. It goes beyond sparks, it becomes an anchor. With you, what he had wasn't just romance, it was connection on a level that touched his soul. You didn't just love him for the fun moments, you stood with him through the struggles. You didn't just give him affection, you gave him understanding. That kind of emotional depth leaves an imprint far deeper than passion ever could. While passion can fade and excitement can slow down, emotional intimacy keeps pulling someone back because it satisfies a need that nothing else can replace, the need to be truly understood and loved at the core. When he walks into something new, he might be caught up in the shine of romance. He might feel captivated by the thrill of chasing something different. But as time goes on, he starts to feel the gaps. He realizes that while surface-level romance excites, it does not sustain. It does not calm him in moments of fear. It does not heal him in moments of pain. And it does not truly celebrate him in moments of growth. That's when the bond he shared with you begins to resurface in his heart, because emotional depth is what his soul remembers. The truth is, the bond of emotional depth does not end when someone walks away. It lingers in the smallest ways. It shows up when he hears a certain tone of voice, when he longs for the comfort of being understood without explanation, when he remembers how you could read him without words. These are the kinds of things that surface-level romance cannot give. And no matter how beautiful something new looks, it will always feel incomplete compared to the richness of what he once had with you. That bond, that emotional intimacy, remains a quiet force inside him, reminding him that true connection is not found in temporary passion, but in the depth of love that outlasts every fleeting moment. 6. How the smallest memories of you become the loudest echoes in his heart. Memories have a way of creeping into the quietest corners of life, often when they are least expected. It is not always the big moments that leave the deepest mark, but the smallest, simplest ones that seem ordinary at the time. The way you laughed at something silly, the way you said his name, the little routines you shared. These are the things that begin to replay in his mind when he least expects it. And the more he tries to push them away, the louder they echo inside his heart, reminding him of what he once had and can never truly forget. At first, he may try to convince himself that moving on means erasing you. He might surround himself with new distractions, new people, and new experiences. But memories do not fade so easily, because they are tied not just to events but to feelings. The way you made him feel safe, understood, or even challenged to be better becomes attached to those small details. A song you both love, conversations into meaningful exchanges. The way your support in quiet times carried more weight than any showy display of affection. These subtle things, once overlooked, now stand out as irreplaceable. It is in these echoes that he begins to understand the truth. He may live in the present, he may try to give his attention to someone new, but the memories of you weave themselves into his daily life like threads he cannot cut. And the more those memories resurface, the harder it becomes to deny that your presence still lives inside him, no matter how much he tries to move on. 7. How his new life cannot fill the void of what only you gave him. When he steps into a new chapter with someone else, it may appear as though he has found everything he was looking for. The smiles, the outings, the fresh conversations, all of it may look convincing from the outside. But deep within, there is a quiet truth he cannot escape. No matter how much he tries, his new life cannot replace the depth of what he once shared with you. Because what you gave him was not just love, it was something far greater. You gave him understanding, a safe place, and a sense of belonging that few ever experience. At first, distraction might make him believe he has filled the gap. The novelty of a new relationship, the thrill of being desired, and the comfort of avoiding loneliness may convince him that he has moved on. But over time, the cracks begin to show. He starts to notice that while he may be surrounded by newness, there is a void that lingers, a sense of incompleteness that no amount of affection or excitement can cover. That void exists because you provided him with something rare, emotional nourishment that went beyond the surface. With you, he didn't just share moments, he shared parts of his soul. He could be vulnerable without fear, honest without masks, and broken without shame. That level of acceptance is not something easily found again, and when he tries to recreate it elsewhere, it falls short. He begins to realize that what you gave him was not ordinary, it was unique, a kind of love and care that cannot be replicated no matter how hard he or anyone else tries. This realization doesn't hit all at once. It builds slowly through small comparisons, through moments of dissatisfaction, through the awareness that something is always missing. He may laugh with someone new, but it does not reach the same depth. He may share stories, but they do not carry the same weight. He may feel cared for, but not in the way you once made him feel truly understood. And as this awareness grows, so does the emptiness that follows him. That void becomes the silent reminder of what you gave him and what his new life cannot offer. It whispers in moments of quiet, reminding him that while newness can be exciting, it cannot heal the emptiness left behind by a love that touched him on levels deeper than he ever realized until it was gone. 8. How timing may separate paths, but destiny realigns them. Life has a way of pulling people apart, sometimes not because the love isn't real, but because the timing isn't right. He may have walked away, chosen another path, or even convinced himself that he wanted something different. But timing is only one part of the story. Destiny, that invisible force that shapes lives and weaves connections, has a way of bringing back what was meant to be, even after seasons of distance. No matter how far he goes or who he is with, if the bond was written in the fabric of his life, it will find a way to return. In the beginning, timing can feel stronger than destiny. Responsibilities, temptations, or personal struggles can cloud judgment and lead to choices that separate two people. He may have chosen a different direction because it felt easier or more aligned with his current season of life. Yet as the days turn into months and months into years, he begins to realize that timing was only a temporary barrier, not a permanent one. Destiny is patient, and it never forgets what is meant to be. There will come moments when he feels the weight of this truth. He may find himself looking at his new life and questioning why. Despite everything seeming right, something still feels incomplete. It is in these moments that destiny whispers louder, reminding him that timing may have delayed love, but can never destroy it. What is real, what is rooted in something greater than attraction or convenience, always finds its way back to the surface. Destiny works through unexpected ways, through chance encounters, through memories that refuse to fade, through circumstances that bring two souls back into alignment. He may resist it, but deep within, he knows that what he had with you was more than just coincidence. It was a connection that carried meaning, a relationship that left a permanent mark on his heart. And no matter how much life tries to scatter paths, the force of destiny has a way of realigning what belongs together. This realization grows stronger as he reflects on the bond you shared, realizing that love rooted in truth cannot be erased by distance, distractions, or even time. Timing may separate for a while, but destiny always knows the right moment to bring back what was never truly lost. 9. How inner peace and your growth make him chase what he lost. There comes a moment when he begins to notice not just the absence of you, but the transformation in you. At first, he may have expected you to remain the same, waiting in the shadows of his decisions, but instead you chose growth. You chose healing, rebuilding yourself, and creating a life where your happiness was no longer dependent on him. That inner peace you now carry becomes something magnetic, something that silently calls to him in ways he cannot ignore. Because nothing unsettles a man more than seeing the one he left behind rise stronger, calmer, and untouchable. Inner peace is not loud, it is quiet strength. It shows in the way you no longer react to his absence, the way you no longer chase, beg, or try to prove your worth. It reflects in your confidence, your calmness, and the glow that comes from knowing who you are. When he sees this version of you, it shakes him. Because what once was familiar has now evolved into something powerful, and he begins to realize that he lost not just a partner, but a rare kind of presence that few people ever find. Growth has a way of making the past look smaller. The things that once broke you no longer define you, the love that a longing, a regret, a desire to return to what once was his safe place. In chasing his own path, he may have thought he gained freedom, but now he sees that your evolution has created a distance he cannot bridge easily. That quiet glow of inner peace becomes the very thing that makes him realize he let go of something priceless. 10. How the truth of love always finds a way back no matter the distance. Love, when it is real, does not dissolve with time, nor does it disappear with distance. It may be buried beneath pride, fear, or even the distractions of a new relationship, but it never dies. The truth of love is powerful. It is a force that lingers, a quiet current that runs underneath everything else, waiting for the right moment to resurface. No matter how far he goes, no matter who he tries to replace you with, if the love you shared was true, it will always find a way to pull him back toward you. He may try to convince himself that he has moved on, that what you had was just a chapter now closed. But life has a way of reminding him of truths he cannot escape. The smallest signs, a memory, a dream, a coincidence, become reminders of the bond you both shared. And the more he tries to deny it, the louder it speaks. Because truth cannot be silenced. It waits, it whispers, and it shows itself in moments when the heart is most vulnerable. The truth of love is different from desire, attraction, or temporary connection. Those things fade with time. They lose their spark once challenges arrive. But true love endures. It weathers storms, survives separation, and even grows stronger in silence. What you gave him wasn't just affection, it was a love rooted in understanding, acceptance, and depth. That kind of love leaves a mark that cannot be erased, no matter how much distance is placed between two people. As he moves through his life, he begins to realize this truth in ways he cannot deny. New relationships may bring comfort, but they do not carry the same soul-level bond. Time may create space, but it cannot weaken the pull of something real. And the further he goes, the clearer it becomes that true love is not something you walk away from and never feel again. It is something that continues to call you back, no matter how long it takes. It is this realization that eventually reaches him that love, when it is genuine, is not bound by circumstance, distance, or even mistakes. The truth of love waits, and no matter how far he runs, it will always find a way back into his heart, pulling him toward the place where it first began.